By exerting pressure on other nations with its economic or military might, a nation might increase its power and gain world hegemony. From ancient Rome to the Cold War, there has always been a struggle for global hegemony. Korea is in a difficult situation as a result of its military alliance with the US and its economic ties with China, as the US and China compete more fiercely for global hegemony today. The United States. Currently, the United States leads the world in terms of military strength (GDP), particularly after Korea was liberated in 1945. It gave that country a lot of material support. In particular, it provided a lot of military support to Korea after Korea's liberation in 1945. The U.S. dispatched troops during the Korean War and signed the ROKUS Mutual Defense Treaty with Korea after the war, and American troops are still stationed in Korea. From an economic perspective, the U.S. also lent capital and contributed to Korea's economic growth as a reliable ally. The two countries also share the same political ideology, such as respecting the value of liberal democracy and human rights. The hegemonic powers before Rome or England exploited other countries under colonial rule, and the Tang, Ming, and Qing dynasties with Asian hegemony also continuously attacked the Korean peninsula and demanded we obey them. However, unlike the previous powers, the U.S. does not attack or bully its allies. However, the U.S. does not provide unconditional aid to Korea as in the past. Particularly, it is expecting economic compensation as Korea has achieved rapid growth. Former U.S. President Donald Trump had demanded that South Korea pay more for its share of the cost of stationing U.S. forces in Korea. Currently, President Biden also passed the so-called Inflation Reduction Act, and as a result, Hyundai Motor Company is struggling in the U.S. market without the tax benefits it used to receive. Biden also sharply raised interest rates to shake the global economy. In the end, the United States is also acting selfishly in the face of its own crisis and not carrying out its responsibility as a hegemonic country. China. In the past, China ruled over Asia, but it lost its dominance when the British defeated it in the Opium Wars in the 19th century. China experienced extraordinary economic growth since Deng Xiaoping's reform and opening up, maintaining socialism politically, but adopting capitalism economically. As China proliferated in the 2000s and 2010s, Korea had no choice but to increase its economic cooperation with China. As of 2021, China is Korea's largest trading partner and the second largest investment destination. Although the United States still ranks first in economic and military power, most analyses indicate that China will catch up with the U.S. soon, given its large population, territory, and growth trend of China. Therefore, pursuing cooperation with China rather than the U.S. can practically help Korea's economic growth. The same applies to the North Korean issue. As China is an ally of North Korea, China's cooperation is essential in resolving the North Korean nuclear problem. However, first, China does not have a strong ally, unlike the U.S. The U.S. has strong alliances with many countries, such as Europe, South Korea, and Japan, but China has no allies other than North Korea, Pakistan, and Russia. Second, there have been many cases in which China threatened Korea by abusing our high economic dependence. Even during the deployment of THAAD, Terminal High Altitude Area Defense, they issued a governmental ban on Hallyu even though THAAD did not pose a significant threat to China. The ban prohibited Korean culture in China. Third, the two countries are politically very different. South Korea is a liberal democracy, while China is a socialist country. So, unlike the United States, there is a high probability that the two countries will show different political views.